Howdy, y'all. Swan, Marion, the bookworm cowboy here. Here to read some more of Rick Riordan's The Kane Chronicles, The Serpent's Shadow. Yeah. Just check it out. Chapter 14. One with split personalities. An excellent time to call on ISIS? Perhaps. But even if ISIS had answered, I doubted I could summon any magic faster than Neath could shoot. And on the off chance I could actually defeat the hunters, I had the feeling Neath would consider it cheating if I used another goddess's power against her. She probably decided that I was part of the Russian zombie tax collector conspiracy. As man as Neath was, we needed her help. He'd be much more useful shooting arrows at a purpose than sitting in a bunker, making jackets out of our pockets and knotted twine. A mind race. How do we know about a hunter? I didn't know much about hunters. Except for old Major McNeil, Gramps' friend from the pensioner's home. He just always constantly about it's a shame, really. I blurted out. Mia hesitated, as I'd hoped she would. What is? She asked. The terrible parts of a palm tree. I laughed. It's 7, actually. Mia frowned. Impossible! Oh, yes? I raised my eyebrows. Have you ever lived off the land in Covent Garden? Have you ever trekked through the wilds of Camden Lock and lived to tell about it? He has spoke this ever so slightly. I do not know those places. I thought not, I said tranquilly. Oh, the stories we could have shared, Mia. The tips for survival. Once I went for a whole week on nothing but stale biscuits and the juice of Ribena. Is that a plan? Mia asked. Every nutrient you need for survival, I said. If you know where to buy, I mean harvest it. I lifted my wand, hoping she would see this as a dramatic move, not a threat. While once in my bunker at Charing Cross Station, I stalked the deadly prey known as jelly babies. Mia's eyes widened. Are they dangerous? Horrible, I agreed. Oh, they seem small alone, but they always appear in great numbers, sticky, fattening, quite deadly. There I was, alone with only 2 quid and a tube pass, set by jelly babies. And but never mind. When jelly babies come for you, you will find out on your own. She lowered her bow. Tell me how I must know how to hunt the jelly babies. He looked like Walt gravely. How many months have I trained with you, Walt? 7, he said. Almost 8. And have I ever seen you worthy of hunting jelly babies with me? No. There you have it. I knelt and began chasing on the rampart floor with my wand. I was not ready for such knowledge. I could draw for you a picture of the jelly baby, or even God's forbid, the Jacob's digestive cream. That knowledge might destroy a lesser hunter. I am the goddess of hunting, The dense cliff is staring in awe at the living markings, apparently not using anything else, making protective hieroglyphs. I must know. Well, the glance at the horizon. First must understand the importance of timing. Yes, Mia said eagerly. Tell me of this. For instance, I tapped the hieroglyph and activated my spell. It's sunset. We're still alive. We win! Mia's expression hardened. Trickery! She runs at me. The reflected cliffs flared, pushing back the goddess. She raised her bow and shot her arrows. What happened next was surprising on many levels. First, the arrows must have been heavily enchanted, because they sailed right past through my defenses. Second, what launched forward with impossible speed. Mm, faster than I could scream, which I did. All snatched the arrows out of the air. They crumbled to gray dust, scattering in the wind. Yeah. Mia stepped back in horror. It's you! This is unfair! We won, Walt said. Honor your agreement. A look passed between them that I couldn't quite understand. Some sort of contest of wills. Mia's hiss her clenched teeth. Very well. You may go. When the profess rises, I will fight at your side. But I will not forget how you trespassed on my territory, child of Set. And you, she glared at me. I lay this hunter's curse upon you. Someday you will be tricked by your prey. I have been tricked today. May you be set upon by a wild pack of wild jelly babies. But that terrifying threat, we have dissolved into a pile of twine. Child of Set? And then my eyes are locked. What exactly? Look out! He warned. All around us, the temple began to crumble. The air rippled as the magic shockwave contracted, transforming the landscape back to present-day Egypt. We barely made it to the base of the stairs. Glass walls of this temple were reduced to a pile of worn mud bricks, but the shadow of Bess was still visible against them, slowly fading as the sun went down. We need to hurry, Walt said. Yes, but how do we catch it? Behind us, someone cleared his throat. Anubis leaned against the nearby palm tree, his expression grim. I'm sorry to intrude, but Walt, it's time. Anubis was sporting the formal Egyptian look. He wore a golden neck collar, a black kilt, sandals, pretty much nothing else. As I mentioned before, not many boys could go off this look, especially with coal eyeliner, but Anubis managed. Suddenly his expression turned to alarm. He sprinted towards us. For a moment I had an absurd vision of myself on the cover of one of the Rand's old romance novels, where the damsel wilts into the arms of a half-dressed beefy guy while another stands by, casting her longing looks. Oh, the horrible choices a girl must make. I wish I'd had a moment to clean up. I was still covered in dried river muck, twine and grass, like I'd been taught and feathered. Then he was pushed past me and gripped Walt's shoulders. Well, that was unexpected. I quickly realized, however, that he'd stopped Walt from collapsing. Walt's face was beaded up with sweat. His head dropped, drooped, and his knees gave out as if someone had cut the last string holding him together. And he was lowered him gently to the ground. Walt, stay with me. And he was urged, we have business to finish. Business to finish! I cried. I'm not sure what came over me. I felt that as if I'd been photoshopped out of my own book cover. And if there was one thing I wasn't used to, it was being ignored. Anubis, what are you doing here? What is going on with you two? What bloody business? Anubis frowned at me, and he forgot, as if he forgot my presence. That didn't do much to help my mood. Sadie, I want to tell her. Walt groaned. Anubis helped him sit up, though Walt still looked awful. I see, Anubis said. Couldn't get a word in edgewise, I guess. Walt managed a weak smile. You should have seen her talking to Neith about jelly babies. She was like, I don't know, a verbal freight train. Goddess never stood a chance. Yes, I saw, Anubis said. It was endearing in an annoying sort of way. I beg your pardon. I wasn't sure which of them to slap first. And when she turns red like that, Anubis said as if I were some interesting specimen. Cute. Walt agreed. So have you decided? Anubis asked him. This is our last chance. Yes. I can't leave her. Anubis nodded and squeezed his shoulder. Neither can I. But the shadow first. Walt coughed, his face contorting in pain. Yes, before it's too late. Can't pretend I was thinking clear, but one thing was obvious. These two had been talking behind my back much more than I'd realized. On earth were they telling each other about me? Forget the purpose following the sun. This was my ultimate nightmare. How could they both not leave me? Hearing that from a dying boy in the call of death sounded quite ominous. They formed some sort of conspiracy. Oh Lord, I was beginning to think like Nia. Soon I'd be huddled in an underground bunker eating army rations and cackling as I sewed together pockets out of all the boys who jilted me. With difficulty, Anubis helped Walt over to the shadow of Bess, now rapidly disappearing in the twilight. Can you do it? Anubis asked. Walt murmured something I couldn't make out. His hands were shaking, but he pulled a block of wax up from his bed and began kneading it into a shapti. Sidney tried to make it sound so complicated, but now I see now. It's simple. No wonder the gods wanted this knowledge kept out of mortal hands. Excuse me? I interrupted. They both looked at me. I'm Sadie Kane, I said. I don't mean to barge in on your chummy conversation, but what in places are you doing? Capturing Bess's shadow. Anubis told me. But I couldn't seem to make words come out. So much for being a verbal freight train. I've become a verbal train wreck. But if that's the business you were talking about, then what was all that about deciding to leave me and Sadie, Walt said, you're going to lose the shadow if I don't act now. You need to watch the spell so you can do this with the shadow of the serpent. You are not going to die, Waltstone. I forbid it. It's a simple incantation, he continued, quite ignoring my plea. A regular summons with the word shadow of best substituted for best. As the shadow absorbed your lead a binding spell to anchor it. Then, Walt, stop it! He was shivering so bad his teeth chattered. How could he think about me giving me a magic lesson now? Then for the execration, he said, you'll need to be in front of a profess, which was exactly the same as normal. Sentney lied about that part. There's nothing special about his enchantment. The only hard part is finding the shadow. For best, just reverse the spell. You'll be able to cast it from a distance. Since it's a beneficial spell, Shadow will want to help you. Send out the shade to find best, and it should bring him back. What? Sadie! Anubis put his arms around me. His brown eyes were full of compassion. Don't make him talk in more than he asked you. He needs his strength for the spell. Paul began to chant. He raised a limb of wax which now resembled a miniature best, pressed it against the shadow on the wall. I sobbed, but he'll die! Anubis held me. He smelled of temple incense, copal, and amber, and other fragrant fragrances. He was born under the shadow of death. Anubis said, that's why we understand each other. He would have collapsed long before now. But Jazz gave him one last potion to hold off the pain. Give him a final burst of energy in an emergency. I remembered the sweet smell of lotus on Walt's breath. He took it just now. When we were running from the earth. Anubis nodded. It's worn off. You only have enough energy to finish this spell. No! I meant to scream and hit him. I'm afraid I rather melted and wept instead. Anubis sheltered me in his arms, and I sniveled like a little girl. I had no excuse. I simply couldn't stand the thought of losing Walt, even to bring back Bess. Just once, couldn't I succeed at something without a madness of sacrifice? You have to watch. Anubis told me. Learn the spell. It's the only way to save Bess. And you need the same enchantment. Capture the serpent's shadow. I don't care! I cried, but I did watch. As Walt chanted, thinking absorbed the shadow of Bess like a sponge, soaking up liquid. The wax turned as black as coal. Don't worry, Anubis said gently. This won't be the end of him. And for him. I pounded on his chest without much force. I don't want to hear that. You shouldn't even be here. And the gods put a restraining order on you. I'm not supposed to be near you. Anubis agreed, but because I have no mortal form. How then? There's no graveyard. This isn't your temple. No. Anubis admitted. He nodded at Walt. Look. Walt finished his spell, spoke a single command word. He, them, them. The hieroglyphs all joined together, played silver against the dark wax. And this is the symbol for joined together, right here. It was the same command I used to repair the gift shop in Dallas. Same command Uncle Amos had used last Christmas when he had demonstrated how to put a broken saucer back together. And with horrible sin, I knew it would be the last spell Walt ever cast. He slumped forward. I ran to his side. I cradled his head in my arms. His breathing was ragged. Work! he muttered. Now, send the shadows at best. They'll have to. Walt, please! I said, we can get you to the rest of them. The healers might be able to. No. He pressed the figuring into my hands. Hurry! I tried to concentrate. It was almost impossible, but I managed to arrest the wording of my execration. I channeled my power into the figuring and imagined best as it once was. I urged the shadow to find its master, to reawaken his soul, instead of erasing Bess from the world. Tried to draw him back into the picture, this time with permanent ink. Wax figure, statue started turning to smoke and disappeared. Did it work? I asked. Walt didn't answer. His eyes were closed. He lay perfectly still. Oh, please! No! I heard his forehead, which was rapidly cooling. Anubis! Do something! No answer. I turned and Anubis was gone. Anubis! I screamed so loudly, they echoed off the distant cliffs. I set Walt down as gently as I could. I stood and turned in a full circle, the fists clenched. That's it! I shouted at the empty air. You take his soul and leave! I hate you! Suddenly Walt gasped and opened his eyes. I saw Bristly. What? I knelt next to him. The gate! He had said urgently. I didn't know what he meant. Perhaps he'd been had some sort of near-death vision. His voice sounded clear, feeling free of pain but still weak. Sadie, hurry. You know the spell now. We'll work on the serpent's shadow. Whoa, what happened? I brushed the tears from my face. What gate? He pointed feebly. A few meters away. A door of darkness hovered in the air. The whole quest was a trap, he said. Setting. I see his plan now. Your brother needs your help. What about you? Come with me. He shook his head. I'm still too weak. I will do my best to summon reinforcements for you in the Duat. You need them. But I can barely move. I'll meet you at sunrise at the first snow. If you sure you don't hate me. Hate you? I was completely baffled. Why on earth would I hate you? He smiled sadly. That wasn't quite like him. Look. He said. Took me a moment to understand his meaning. Cold feeling washed over me. How had Walt survived? There was Anubis. So what was that he been conspiring about? Nias had called Walt a child of Seth, but he wasn't. Seth's only child was Anubis. I tried to tell her. Walt had said he was born under the shadow of death. Anubis had told me that's why we understand each other. I didn't want to, but I lowered my vision into art. Where Walt lay, I saw a different person, like a superimposed image. A young man lying weak and pale, a gold neckband and black Egyptian kilt. His familiar brown eyes with a sad smile. Deeper still, I still saw the golden gray radiance of a god. Jackal-headed form of Anubis. Oh, no, no! I got up, stumbled away from him. from them. Too many consequences fell together at once. My head was spinning. Lots ability to turn things to dust. It was the path of Anubis. He'd been channeling God's power for months. The friendships, their discussions. The other way, Anubis hinted at for saving Walt. What have you done? I stared at him in horror. I wasn't sure what to call him. Sadie, it's me, Walt said. Still me. In the duet, Anubis spoke in unison. Still me. No! My legs trembled. I felt betrayed and cheated. I felt as if the world was already crumbling into the sea of chaos. I can explain, he said in two voices. Carter needs your help. Please, Sadie. Stop it! I'm not proud of how I acted. But I turned and fled, leaping straight through the doorway of darkness. At the moment, I didn't even care where it led, as long as it was away from that deathless creature I thought I loved. With that, we end this chapter. That was a bit short.